Welcome to Eat at Joe's. Let's make steak fajitas. The key to using beef in fajitas lies in your choice of cut. Traditionally, you'd use a skirt steak, but you could also use a flank steak. Skirt and flank are both cuts from the belly of the animal, so they're both long, thin, tough cuts of meat with intense beef flavor. This is a 1-pound cut of skirt steak. Notice the long fibers with very little fat. When you throw a cut like this onto a hot surface like a grill, it'll seize up and shrink really fast, rapidly releasing moisture. It's almost impossible to sear well without overcooking the meat. Because that belly muscle is so strong, you can't serve this any hotter than medium rare. Otherwise, it's going to be tough and chewy no matter what you do. The answer to all of those problems is the biggest kitchen gadget to hit homes in the last decade: a sous vide. They're worth the $100 investment, especially if you like beef. I use mine once a month just for steak alone. Using a sous vide, you will be able to rival the best steak fajitas you have ever had anywhere. You could put together a mixture of salt, pepper, paprika, cayenne, cumin, a few other things, but honestly, it's easier to just buy a fajita spice blend from the store. Pick up a couple of small limes as well, and that'll help zest it up a little bit. This is a great cut, but it's a little long. So we'll slice it in half so it's 2 relatively even pieces. You can really see those long muscle fibers running across the whole cut. Put a tablespoon of the spice blend, a small lime, a tablespoon of butter, and a tablespoon of water into the bag. Mix everything together, then place the beef inside. At this point, if you wanted to marinate it in the fridge overnight, you could, but I don't think you'll find much difference between doing that and just cooking it out in a water bath for 2 hours at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Come back after about an hour and start to prep your vegetables. You want a good-sized onion and a large bell pepper for every pound of meat. I actually got a few smaller peppers, so I'll show you a couple of different ways of how to cut them up. I generally prep my bell peppers one of 2 ways, either a classic slice or a julienne. To julienne, cut either end off the pepper, then slice one side so you can roll out a long strip of pepper. Use your knife to remove anything white. Slice the long strip into smaller strips, then chop down any green left from the top and tail. If that seems like too much, you can just cut the pepper all the way around, gut everything white with your fingers, and then slice it into strips. I don't use my mandolin for much, but it's awesome for the stuff that I just don't want to do with a knife. It's amazing for breaking vegetables down, for soups in particular. But I almost always use it for onions because I can get even, thin slices quickly without my eyeballs burning. Put the onions into a cast iron pan first, followed by the bell pepper. By now, the beef has been in the sous vide bath for about an hour and a half. We're going to take all the liquefied fat and drippings and spices and pour it over the onions and bell peppers. Remove the bag from the bath and pour all the juices over the vegetables in the cast iron. The meat can continue to cook for a half hour while the vegetables grill out. Throw the cast iron on the grill and come back every 5 or 10 minutes to give it a toss and make sure that it's cooking evenly. Once the vegetables are finished, you can set them aside and focus on the meat. Take the meat out of the bath and wrap it in a few layers of paper towel. You want the steak as dry as you can get it. By the time we walk it outside to the grill, it'll be ready to go. We're using the cast iron griddle on a high heat so it gets ripping hot and we can maximize the sear on our meat. We'll do the pieces one at a time. That way, we keep half the iron smoking hot for when we flip the meat over. That ensures a great sear on both sides. We can just rest the finished cut in the pan with the vegetables while we sear off the second piece. Let's take it inside and slice it up. Knife technique is vital for a good steak fajita. If you don't cut those long muscle fibers down with your knife, you're forcing your teeth to do it later. Proper slicing ensures that the meat pulls apart easily when people bite into it. If you've done it right, your beef should be red inside with a distinct, tight brown crust along the edge. Throw the sliced steak in with the peppers and onions and toss it all together. Depending on your tastes, you could squeeze out that second lime and throw that in as well. Serve them up with tortillas, sour cream, grated cheddar, whatever you like. Thanks for watching Eat at Joe's. Hope you enjoyed my fajitas. See you next time.